Welcome back, guys. So, the new project in the shop. Um, just a little insight here, guys. I live in Ohio, and it's cold and snowy as can be outside. So, this time of year, obviously, skid steer, dozer, all that stuff. As you can tell by the dozer parts over here, they're still being worked on. There is not much outside work happening. I am trying to spend as much time in here to get the dozer up and going, get all that stuff painted, get the skid steer finished up. There will be some more videos on both of them here in the near future. As of today, the current project is my lift. So this is a Challenger CL10. You can see right here, it is a 10,000 pound lift. Bought this lift, sight unseen basically. It was from a Walmart, just north of me up here in Ohio. Gentleman I bought it from knew nothing about the lift and kind of took a chance on it, thinking, the rest of the lift looked pretty good, looked like it was in pretty good shape, and the price was pretty good. So got it home, got it stood up, got it bolted down, everything's anchored in, and finally got it hooked up to the power and went to use it the other day just to, after I hooked the power up, try it out. And this cylinder here, as you can see, which is stupid long, was actually just leaking a bunch of oil around this seal here. So for those of you that don't know, these cylinders they're kind of funny how they're put together, and I don't really understand all of it. I do kind of grasp the concept. The oil goes in and out down here around the bottom, right there. So that's where the oil goes in and out. This rod is actually hollow, so the oil goes up inside the rod and pushes down on the underside of the packing, on the backside of the packing, and that's what releases or pushes the cylinder up. They're gravity fed back down, so it just bleeds the fluid back down through the bottom. Well, after I fixed this side, wouldn't you know it, that I didn't order another seal kit, and this side started leaking immediately. So just my luck, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. So now I get the fun task of rebuilding this cylinder. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put you guys on a little bit of a time lapse getting this cylinder out of the lift, which is a job all in itself. And then once we get it out, I'll set it up on a bench there and kind of show you guys exactly how to take the gland nut off, because this does not thread on here on this lift. So there's actually a little cover right here. There is a wire that actually is fed into a channel in here, and you got to pry that wire out and then pull the cap out, pull the rod out, repack the cylinder, put it all back. There are some felt seals in there, which make it a little bit more fun for everybody to have to work with, because it's 2025. We couldn't use normal rubber seals for wipers or anything like that. We have to make things special. So I will set this up on time lapse, and then I'll be back to you when we get it put on the bench. Alright guys, so this is basically, after doing the first one, this is what I have come up with that are useful tools. So got your hammers, a couple picks, pair of scissors, our rebuild kit for the lift cylinder, pipe wrench, and a set of your punches, mainly because this little guy right here works very well. Get this retaining pin that they use in these cylinders out. So let's go ahead and get into taking this one apart. guys, so you get this little rubber cap out here, little plug. Get that out. Just like a little dust shield. Alright, now you guys can kind of see here down that little hole. That's the pin that we got to try to get out of there. So it's a little bit difficult. We did find a way to get that out of there. It's not super easy, but it can be done. Stupid loud heater off. We'll get that punch started in there. Then we will take pipe wrench and we'll do some plumbing work here. I know that they make a spanner wrench for this, and it's probably what you should buy, but I'm not going to buy that. Instead, I'm just going to do it this way, and then pull the punch out. Okay, so now you guys can see here, right there, that's the end that I'm talking about. So as I turn this in now, you can see there how that comes out. And right there's that piece. So you just keep spinning this around, it keeps pushing that piece out. So you get to the other side, at the other side here, which is right there. So what you'll do now, pull that out. So it's got this little end on it right there, you can see. And it goes down in, there's like a groove right there. If I can get the focus, see it right there. That groove is what actually holds that in, and then as you spin that around, there's a channel in there. I will show you that here in just a second. So now, it's as simple as, I say simple lightly, it's simple as pulling this gland nut out and the rod out. So I'll set you guys up here again. We'll get that thing pulled out. You guys can watch me ride the good old struggle bus here, because these aren't easy. At least the last one was not. So let's see here. Let's clean a little bit of oil off. Again, that cylinder's leaking right here at this, which tells me that the gland nut seal at the top is probably super brittle. I'll show you that, guys. I'll show you that when I get this out of here. More than likely that gland nut's super brittle, and it's going to come apart in pieces. And it's allowing the fluid that goes inside this cylinder rod up to leak back down through into this outer housing where it's not supposed to be. And there's only a felt seal in there, so there's not a lot. You can see here how oily that rod is. So that is because of all the oil getting past the seals. Now, we can take and just gently tap the end cap off here. So now we can see how bad. There we go. So these cylinders look like shit inside. But as you can see here, there's one O-ring here, but this is that channel right here that piece, that retaining ring goes down in. So this rides in this groove here that hooks in there, and as you spin that around, it feeds it all the way around. That's what holds. There's a channel in there, and it all holds it all together. pretty simple design, kind of stupid. I don't know why they didn't just put a nut, an actual gland nut on here that you could thread in and out. I kind of feel like that would have been a better option for them, but somebody smarter than me designed it, and it works, so we're not going to reinvent the wheel. Not even sure if you could at this point, but we'll go ahead and pull this bad boy out of here, and then we'll get a close-up of what that rod looks like in packing on the other end. As you can see here, this is just a lovely, lovely oil. The other cylinder was in pretty poor shape on the inside. So we're just going to set a pipe wrench under our bucket there. Set that bucket under there so we can catch any runoff fluid residual here. So it's not all over the floor. All right, so what we have here now is a mess, obviously. Can't do anything without making one of them. All right, so let's go over this here. This is our gland nut. We got our O-ring here. Everything's filthy. This here is the part that actually, so this seal here, this is a felt wiper seal. And then this part right here, so this gets really hard. It's super brittle. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's kind of pitted there. That's like a hard plastic. There's a rubber O-ring that goes underneath of that. That's what actually seals, keeps the fluid that comes out of this hole in the center of the cylinder. That's what keeps it on this side and from being out there. That is the reason that the inside of these cylinder housings, I know you guys can't really see it, but that's the reason that they get all corroded up and rusty, because they're really technically not putting out any, there's no oil in there. So you can see it looks kind of rough down there. It's not terrible, but could be a lot better. We'll get her all cleaned up. We'll get these changed and be on our way. Okay, so here we go. All right, so let's get the seal kit laid out, and then let's get this thing rebuilt. All right, so these two seals here, they're the hard plastic. They are um, this piece here. So the original cylinder has just one. These two, or the new kits, come with two. I don't know why. It is what it is. Now this here is supposed to be all one. So this piece here is this blue piece, and it's like a nice, it's kind of a rubbery plastic piece, but it's all one piece. And then you can see here it's got this black rubber inside of it. That is a separate rubber O-ring. That's what goes on the bottom side, and that goes around it. And then of course, piece of felt goes in there. So we got our felt there. And this piece here failing is what has caused it. As you can see here, yeah, it shouldn't be doing that. That's actually supposed to be blue. You can see a little bit of the blue there. And it's not supposed to be hard and brittle and fall apart. So let's get these changed. Let's do a little extraction here. This won't come off in pieces all the way around. That's nice of it. Let's see. Let's get this piece off. Get this one out. It's pretty similar to just about every other hydraulic cylinder rebuild. Pretty simple. I too have paid for hydraulic cylinder replacement or rebuilds. They are not cheap for the amount of work that goes into them. I kind of feel, I know everybody has to make money. I'm not knocking the guys that do it. They can be intimidating. Some seal kits can be hard to get. But guys, it's not that difficult to rebuild a hydraulic cylinder. And these companies charge astronomical prices for these rebuilds. And it's just not necessary. I mean, I got 3 cylinders right here that were rebuilt. They were repacked and rebuilt by a local shop. The only one that I know that was really kind of a problem was this little cylinder here. And it's just a special cylinder that from John Deere, and it's old, so it's hard to get parts for. Other than that, the other other 2 cylinders were pretty common, and I had a lot of money in them cylinder rebuilds, so I decided that I wanted to learn how to do it on my own. So I just took the leap, did it, got it done, and it's not hard. I won't pay to rebuild any of them unless they're a special cylinder that at that point I'll take the numbers over and try to find the kit or the individual seals for each part and go ahead and try to rebuild them myself, unless they need to be re-rotted or anything like that. It's just not as difficult as it seems. It is a messy job. There ain't nothing about rebuilding a hydraulic cylinder that's clean or nice, or I mean, everything you touch on them is a mess. So just be prepared with some paper towels and stuff to keep your area clean. Helps you out a little bit. So let's get these wiped off. Now we'll actually slide this gland nut off the other end. We'll take the fitting out, slide it off, and we will go ahead and install a new felt in that. That does come with the kit. But that's about it. They're pretty slim pickings on your kits here. They don't give you a whole lot. So go rubber first. I'm gonna wipe this out real quick. So we do rubber first, and then we gotta roll it over this next lip. And once you get it started in there, it goes pretty simple. That one's in. This is the This is the hard one, this little blue plastic ring. It does not give much. It is pretty stiff, and I really don't want to break it and cost myself a whole nother kit for this little seal. Nope, just lost all that. There we go. Now we're getting them. Now we're getting somewhere. So now I just want to walk that seal on. Just like that. Now we're good to go. Got a pretty good seal on there. We will go ahead and install these rings. Wiper rings. And they do have a groove in them, as can be seen here. So what we'll do is we will offset them. So this one's on this side, and we'll go ahead and stick this groove on the bottom side on this one. That way nothing gets past that line. And then last but not least, we have to install these Ride the Struggle bus on this one again too, because that's pretty common. You want to get it down in here nice and as far as you can, because when we go to stick this back in that cylinder housing, if you got too much excess out of the tube, it's a pain in the butt to get it down in there. So get her down in there as far as we can. Really do a good job trying to get it packed in there as good as possible. Now I know on the last kit it was actually a little bit long and it needed to be trimmed. This one, I'm sure they're all from China and they're probably all a little bit different, but this one fits perfect, so that's good. So that one is all the way down in there. Like I said, you want to get it as far in there as you can. Alright, now let's turn this tube over. Get this end down here. And we will pull this here gland nut all the way to this end. So, kind of clean this end up a little bit more. Now, let me go get my just cleaning up as much of the rough edge here as I can. Okay, let's pull this fitting out. Take this out. That is a O-ring seal on there. O-ring still seems fine. It wasn't leaking. Usually I go by the old motto of if it's not broke, don't fix it, and then it usually comes back to bite me in the ass, and I end up having to tear it back apart again to fix it. So you do with yours what you want. You want to put a new seal in it, great. It does not come in the rebuild kit, so at least none that I can find. Clean all that junk out of there. Now we'll pull this off. Okay, so got the gland nut back on there. It's a little bit of a pain, so I had to use both hands there, put the camera down. Once again, not replacing the O-ring on this. So we're going to screw that back in now that we have that gland nut on there. And we're going to tighten her down. Good and snug. As you can see here, got her lubed up. Now, the fun of getting all this to slide back down in. Let me get my pick here, get it wiped off. You just want to ensure that that felt seal is all the way down in past and not getting hung up. And then it's just a matter of manhandling it down in there. And once you get it started past that, they typically slide pretty easy. Okay, so now we need to line up this little hole right here into this groove so we can get that started. We can get that ring started. So we want that right about there. That way when we slide that down in there, it lines up with that slot. So now we're just going to take and lightly tap. Probably do a little bit better with a rubber mallet. Dead blow hammer here. Just like that. So now, what I did on the other one here is I just reused this metal. They do give you a new one, a new metal retaining ring, but it's square, and the factory ones are round. And I just feel like no reason to once again reinvent the wheel. So once again, we're going to do this improperly. We're going to use a plumbing, tool, pipe wrench here, and we're going to just spin this because I don't feel the need to buy extra tools. I'm sure there's a special tool for this style cylinder. To get that ring in there. As you can see, that ring just goes right down in the groove. Alright, so that's what you want to see in the end. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. There is one end right there, and then the other end is right there. So that cylinder is done. Don't try this at home, guys. I don't recommend it. It's not smart, but when you're working by yourself, sometimes you do not so smart things. So These are 100-pound suitcase weights, so hopefully that gives us enough weight. That way it gives us enough weight that it will persuade our lift to go down. Let's try this again. Let's see what happens. There we go. The fluid's cold. It's super cold out, and that doesn't help. Plus, there's still probably some air in that line and in that cylinder, so we'll get her down, and then we will listen to me breathe like a fatty. All I did was carry 2 weights. We'll get down, we'll let it go back up, and we will check to make sure we don't have any leaks. So, whenever tomorrow happens, because this thing moves slower than Moses. I do think we got it, but I do want to cycle it just to ensure we got the rest of the air out of the line, and to like I said, make sure that we don't have any leaks. And this is why in the first time lapse there that it's so difficult to collapse them cylinders all the way down. So you got to push all that fluid back, and even with all the weight, just the 2 carriage pieces that raise and lower on the lift, they're extremely heavy. So you put 100 pounds on top of that, and it still takes all of that for it to go down this slow, which you don't want it to be uncontrolled when you got a vehicle on there. So not too upset about that. We'll just sit here and buy our time. Okay, so now that that's done, let's give her a try here. I really need all this stuff, these 3rd-gen rear seats, bumper off of a Ford, and all this crap going down over the hill to the scrap pile. It's all in my way, but with all the snow that we have right now, it's a pain in the ass to get down there. So, all right. Anyways, let's go ahead and give her a try. Oh yeah, that's much better. Much better. Okay, so they're all the way up as far as I'm going to be probably using them. I do need to, I don't know, I wasn't there when this lift was taken apart, but up there on that top of that cylinder, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but that line is touching that cylinder. So I'm going to have to bend that a little bit and see if I can't get it straightened around. I need to do a little bit of tweaking on this line over here as well. But like I said, I wasn't there when the lift was taken apart, so I don't really know what the proper way was and was not. As you can see here, nice and dry, no oil on the shaft. So that side was a success. And this is the cylinder that we just rebuilt. As you can see, no oil, shaft's nice and dry around the bottom. So I'd say that's a job well done, guys. I do in the future want to change the oil in the tank, kind of clean it out. I'm gonna pull that down off there, wipe everything out. You can see, I don't know, yeah, you can see how dirty this is just built up inside the tank. We are a little bit low on fluid too, now that we've rebuilt both cylinders and have all that. So I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna get some new oil for it, take this off, and I want to clean this all up, get it all clean on the inside, so we got good oil. And then I will get some cleaner down in here. and all of that nice grease and oil that they have in there and all that dirt clean up. And same over here. Get all this stuff, all that grease and oil you can see laying in there. I did a little bit of cleaning on this side because I had a giant oil spill. I know you guys have seen in the time lapse that I had this small bucket here and put that line in that small bucket. And the reason being is because on the other side I learned the hard way that it just spews all the oil out. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Obviously, you got 13 foot of line up there that it's full of oil. Of course, it's going to leak oil out. So, not really the end of the world. Um, you live and learn. I learned the hard way on the first one. It's pretty much how I learn everything, the hard way. So, I will call this job done.